Can I get everybody to do me a big old favor? Unmute your mic right now and let's give a yay for Judge. Focus on what you can control. That's what I'm talking about. Judge, I love your segments, and I'm going to tell you there's really two things you can control. It's your activity and your attitude. Activity and attitude. That's about it. The rest is kind of like up in the air, right? But if you control those two things and you keep them positive, well, guess what? Everything else in your life should work out. All right, let me go ahead and reset this room. Let's rock, let's roll, let's go. Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Trevor Houston, and this is Breakfast with Champions, the Millionaire Breakfast Club. And this is your opportunity to get a seat at the table with those going the places you know you can go and doing the things you know you can do. Now, we don't see this clubhouse divider with a stage on top and an audience down below. No. Instead, we look at this as the world's largest breakfast table, full of motivation, education, inspiration, and even a friendly competition with the positive intention of pushing your momentum in the right direction. Now listen, if you ever miss a segment, you can go download the Breakfast with Champions podcast to subscribe and listen anytime. So head on over to breakfastwithchampions.live, grab the link and subscribe to the podcast. All right. Well, let's rock, let's roll, let's go. If I could get everybody in the chat real quick, let me hear you. Let me see who's tuning in with me. I want to give some shout outs. Give me a 1 in the chat if you're tuning in, if you're listening, if you enjoyed Judge's segment, because it's about to go down, okay? For those of you that don't know me, my name's Trevor Houston, and I am the executive producer and the host of the Who You Know Show, which was voted a top career podcast by MaxList 2022. And I've also been featured all over the place for this thing I created called the Job Search Trojan Horse, which really helps career changers to overcome ageism and stand out and recover their cash flow. So I'm super excited you guys are here. Separately and independently from the Who You Know Show, I'm also a licensed financial professional offering insurance and financial products through various carriers. So for more information on that, you can visit ClearPath Wealth strategies.com. But I've got a few questions. I want to see who's tuning in with me. I got a few questions for the audience right now, okay? So actually, before we get to that, let's share out the room. Everybody go ahead and share out this room and just put 1 once you're done with that. Share it out, because you never know who this could make an impact with in their life. So my question this morning is, if you've ever found yourself wanting more out of your career, I want you to just go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. If you've ever found yourself wanting more, all right, and I see Tony, I see Linda, I see Danielle, I see Amanda, I see Luis, I see Monica, right? I see Tiff. All right, if you've ever found yourself wanting more out of your career, again, just give me a 1. Now, second question I have for you. If you've ever felt a little disengaged, maybe like a little disconnected, or maybe you feel like you're dealing with burnout from your work, I want you to just give me a 2 in the chat. Give me a 2. Give me a 2. All right. Now, all right. I see Monica. I see Tiff, Christina. Right. I see you. So if you've ever felt a little disengaged or disconnected, I want you to give me a 2. All right. Now, if you're currently working within a career that brings you like complete satisfaction and fulfillment, I want you to give me a 3 in the chat. If you're currently working within your gifts, your purpose, your mission, I want you to give me a 3 in the chat. And if you'd like to know how to build a career around your passion, just go ahead and give me a 4. All right. So I see Linda and Jessica and Amanda and Stars, Tina, good to see you here with us. They're all living in their purpose and fulfillment. I see Patricia. I see Erica. I see you. You would like to learn more about how to build a career around your passion. Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to record a quick episode here of the Who You Know Show. Let's rock, let's roll, let's go.
Welcome back to another episode of the Who You Know Show podcast. Well, what you know is important, but who you know can make all the difference in your business, career, relationships, and life. My name is Trevor Houston, and on this show, you'll learn the strategy, grit, and mindset it takes to overcome obstacles so you can level up in your career, recover your cash flow, and live the life of purpose that God intended for you. Don't forget to look at the mic drop moments timestamped in the show notes below. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, make sure to pay it forward, subscribe, and leave an honest review so we can improve. Thanks for listening. My name is Trevor Houston, and please enjoy this episode of the Who You Know Show.
On today's episode, I'm going to show you how to find your passion and build a career around it. So before we get to that, though, I want you to start to picture yourself like a sailboat for just a moment. I want you to think of yourself and think of your life like a sailboat, okay? The wind is in your sails, and you got a current beneath you. And you start to...
Javon, how are you today?
Uh-oh, we got a high mic in the room. Bettina, we got a high mic in the room. Can we get that mic? That'd be amazing. Sorry, I want you to picture yourself like a sailboat. There's wind in your sails. You got the current beneath you. And you start to cruise through life. Like high school, college, starting a new career, and then the wind starts to change. It kind of like tosses you around a little bit. And it starts to look like the storm is doing its best to drown you. Life can often try to push you in a direction that you don't want to go. And many times, you got to break out the oars and just start rowing to keep moving in the direction that you want to go. And if you stop rowing and just hope that the wind is going to get you where you want to go, well, you may be disappointed because you're going to probably arrive in the wrong destination. And see, it's no secret that many people are unhappy with their jobs. A recent study found that only 13% of workers worldwide are engaged in their work. The vast majority of people are disengaged. And first they call this thing the Great Resignation. Then they call it quiet quitting. And depending on who you ask, quiet quitting can mean a few different things. For some, it's a way of keeping your perspective so your job won't take over the rest of your life. And others see this as a little bit of a darker side to this thing. They say it's a sign of being disengaged at work. And it could have a negative impact on your career and society. And a recent Gallup poll found that at least half of American workers say they're doing the bare minimum to meet the job description. So I got to ask you a question. Is there a middle ground between, being a workaholic and just kind of like going through the motions? And how can you find work that you love? And once you identify it, how can you build a career around it? See, there's no one size fits all to these questions, but there are a few things you can do to increase your chances of finding work that you love. First, think about the things that make you happy and fulfilled. What makes you happy? What makes you lose track of time? For me, it's creating processes, training, it's building people, it's the journey of growing my businesses. And for you, it's probably going to be something different. So today, I wanted to share with you 3 ways to identify what makes you happy and turn your passion into a long-term career. So if you're ready for that, let me get a 1 in the chat right now. Let me get a 1 in the chat. If you want to know how to identify what makes you happy and how to turn your passion into a long-term career, let me get a 1 in the chat. I see Monica. I see you. Jagger says we always want to learn. Love that. And as a bonus, towards the end, and I see Linda, I see you. As a bonus, I'm also going to show you 5 ways to protect yourself from getting disconnected in this new world of burnout everybody seems to be going through. So let's start by identifying what makes you happy. What makes you fulfilled? Number 1, I think you should make a list of the activities that you enjoy doing and start to narrow that list down and prioritize the things that you want most. Consider how you could turn your passion into a long-term career. For an example, if you love spending time outdoors, you might consider a career as an environmentalist or outdoor education. You might teach social work if you love working with children. I feel like too many people just let life happen to them instead of being proactive about creating the life of their dreams. So once you've identified a few possible career paths, it's time to dig a little bit deeper and do some research. Research. You have to think about what does a typical day look like in this field? What kind of education and training is required? And step number 2, you need to try some new things. Try as many things as possible, as early as possible as you can. Explore different careers and see which one resonates with you. Talk to people who are already doing what you want to do. That's why I love this Breakfast with Champions room so much. Doing the things that you know you can do and going the places you know you can go. Talk to people who are already doing those things. Now, I will say this step is easier the earlier in life that you can do this. Another thing that you can do is volunteer in a field that interests you. I actually started my career with the job seeker community through volunteering. And, years later, this is my passion, and I found it. But it started through volunteering at a local church. And I just got so connected with helping to rebuild people who were broken that I just felt so called to it. And here I am years and years later. And I never saw myself in this, but if it wasn't for volunteering, I never would have found that purpose. So volunteer in fields that interest you. Take classes or workshops that are related to your field of interest. And lastly, network with people who work in your desired field. Right? You can go to networking events or meetup.com or search for networking events in your city or online or even events on LinkedIn, right? So network with people who are doing what you want to be doing. So all of that is step 2, which is try new things, right? Figure out what you enjoy, what you love. Step number 3, get a coach or a mentor. If you're still unsure on how to turn your passion into a career, consider working with a coach or a mentor. Look for someone who is doing what you want to do. You can search on Facebook or LinkedIn to find successful coaches in your field of interest. And once you've found a potential mentor, don't simply say, hey, let me pick your brain, because let me tell you something. Ain't nobody got time for that. All right. I don't know how many times I've heard people reach out. Hey, let me pick your brain. Let me pick your brain. No. That's not the way to get a mentor. Reach out, introduce yourself, and then try to find ways that you can actually add value into their life. What can you do to help them? How can you make their life better? And also, make sure that this person has the time and the willingness to help you. But I promise you, if you go give first, you're going to get a better chance of landing that mentor. Ask, mutual acquaintances or friends, if they know anyone who could be an excellent mentor for you. What you do for a living can have a big impact on the quality of your life. So it's important to take time. Take time to find the work you're passionate about, and you'll be more likely to find success and satisfaction. If you're currently seeking a new opportunity or thinking about making a transition, I invite you to join our free Career Transition Summit, where I can show you how to land your dream job and recover your cash flow without ever touching your resume. So you can click the link above in the description to learn more. If you're already in a career you enjoy, but maybe you're finding yourself a little bit disconnected due to the post-pandemic changes that we now work in, consider using a few techniques to protect your career. So here's five things that you can do to stay motivated. Number one, communicate directly. Here's the thing. A lot of experts say that poor management and remote work are the two main reasons behind quiet quitting. So go in, talk face-to-face as much as possible. Have weekly one-on-one sessions with your boss. The human element is still absolutely crucial. Number two, clarify expectations. Understand that your boss's priorities, understand what they are and how your performance will be measured. And make sure to ask for feedback and put things in writing. Number three, connect with the mission. Figure out how your role relates to the overall purpose of the organization. If you disagree with the company's values, well, you may need to just move on. Step number four, continue learning. Keep your skills up to date and give yourself challenges that motivate you. Always be learning. Take courses and read books about your industry. Join committees and volunteer for, different projects. But continue learning. And step number five, stay financially solvent. There's already some talk about quiet firing as a passive-aggressive way to pressure difficult employees to leave. So think about your financial future, even if you dislike your job. So here's the deal. There's concerns about quiet quitting, and they may be a little bit exaggerated, but the question it raises are real. And here's the thing. You spend about 1/3 of your life at work. 1/3. Think of that. 1/3. So you need to make that time as pleasant as possible. You need to make sure that you can align your passions within your career. Have you ever heard somebody say that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life? Well, find your passion and make sure you build a career around it.
Thanks for listening to the Who You Know Show podcast. My name is Trevor Houston, and if you've enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing wherever you listen and leave us a positive review to help us keep the mics on in the studio. Until next week, that's the show. It's all about who you know.
All right. So now I got some questions for the audience. What I'm going to do now is that I'm going to open it up, okay? I'm going to open it up. And so if you'd like to come up to the stage, I want you to just raise your hand right now. You can raise your hand and I'll bring you up. I'll bring you on up to the stage. But listen, so I got some questions for the audience here. All right. What are your thoughts behind balancing your business and your personal life? Like, can we balance this thing? I mean, I know that's kind of a hot word, work-life balance. What are y'all's thoughts around this? Because I'll tell you what, when the pandemic first happened, production went up. Everybody went home and just got to work. They were just grinding it out. And then all of a sudden, we saw burnout. People started just doing less and less and less. And there's just all of this cycling in between jobs, and people are just moving and moving and moving. And I think that people are trying to find their purpose. So let me ask you that. What are your thoughts about this? Who wants to come up to the stage? Just unmute your mic, and I'd love to hear from you.
I'd like to add.
Absolutely. What's your name?
Black Jagger.
Hey, what's going on, Black Jagger? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Trevor. How are you?
Man.
Great segment, everybody. Fantastic. To your question, I think that a great way that I see work-life balance coming for kind of everybody is that the cool part about where we are with technology